Starmer, you've got blood on your hands, you fascist.
That's it.
Stand before their king, and they will answer to the King of Kings.
Tommy Robertson is funded by the Israeli lobby to divide and confuse the English working class.
A year ago, she had the audacity to call the Palestine marches hate marches. She is the one that bought the far-right two-tier policing myth.
It's all about basically two-tier, isn't it? Two-tier government and police, and sticking up for the English patriots. We're not racists. We're just, if you're going to come over into the country, come over legally. You know, why do we have to pay all these millions of pounds for and standing up for free speech? You know, that's what it's all about. That's why we're here. If you're English, no matter what colour you are, come over, support the UK.
I'm here as a far-right football hooligan to support the unity of the UK. I've got friends that I don't see colours, I don't see religions. I do see people marching on our streets every week, calling for jihad, disunity, and burning our flag. And I take offence to that.
And you take?
Sorry, I take offence to people marching on the streets of London every week, going to Speaker's Corner, which is an icon of this country, attacking Christian preachers, causing disharmony, and calling for the caliphate. The last four letters of the word caliphate are hate, and that's what I see in their faces and their actions. What happened to and as for Starmer, the guy in Manchester airport broke the policewoman's nose, the guy on video setting fire to a police van and a bus, the four guys driving down Finchley Road shouting out rape the Jewish daughters, nothing, no charge. Guy shouted out Allah, Allah, who the fuck is Allah? 2 years in prison and just hung himself. Starmer, you've got blood on your hands, you fascist.
Hi there, can I ask you what all your different flags are for?
Well, one's for Trump because I think he'll bring freedom of speech in America, and
Israeli one is I support
the Israelis.
Right.
Wholeheartedly. I watch a lot, I've read a lot about it, and I think they are, you know, it's them first and the rest of us if they don't do something, and I will never accept what happened on the 7th of October.
I'm free to support Israel, I'm free to support Jews. I don't need to come to a demonstration like this where everybody's waving St George's flags to demand freedom of speech over Israel.
I just want it to be a signal where there's so much anti-Semitism around the world that I see on a daily event. I want people to know that England is a place, and I personally, you know, is a good place for Jewish people, and that many people who are here do support the right of Israel to exist.
You come from a feminist background, and you've got a baseball cap saying "Make women female again."
I come from that point of view is because that's how I first felt this move for ideological speech, and in you know, I know friends who were raped cannot access women-only rape crisis centre because she cannot guarantee that those in either the group meetings or the counsellor will be a man in a dress. We need female-only spaces. And I'm not interested in gender ideology, it absolutely bores me. What I am interested is biological sex, because with biological sex, that is the risk factor for sexual assault.
I see a lot of people. I hardly see any black people. Why is that?
I wonder why that is.
Why are you here today?
We are here because we stand up for freedom of speech and the freedom to agree to disagree. We're not fascists, we're not racist. How could we be? We're not even English. And according to the lefties, only the English whites are fascists. So I follow the Bible to the best of my abilities and the Holy Spirit's enabling grace. And to stop all this Islamification, I'm not against Muslims, I'm against Islam of this country and the world. That's it.
So what do you think about, you haven't said anything about Tommy.
Israel. About Israel.
Well, okay, what do you think about Israel?
I support Israel. Not everything any countries do is 100% correct, but they have the right to be where they are in the Holy Land. God gave it to them, but they're the only country in the Middle East that's got real democracy that allows Muslims to go right to the top, i.e. Supreme Court judge who was a Muslim, who was actually on the trial against their own Prime Minister, wasn't it?
Are you saying there is no apartheid in Israel?
I'm saying absolutely no apartheid. No, it's one of these phrases they throw around. Like we're supposed to be racist here, we're supposed to be fascist, apartheid. They slow all the tags that belong to them, they try and deflect them onto us. I've just thought of something. They are like they're mirrors. They bounce everything back to us, which belongs to them. Do you like that? And I patent that. That is, but you can use it, but say where you got it from. Copyright. Jesus said, "Love your enemies." It's very, very hard to do. To love your friends sometimes, but hey, he died for us, didn't he? The Lord Jesus, he died for his enemies. We were attacked. My poor brother was attacked and thumped, and he needed a brain operation actually. Could the police care less? No, they couldn't. Why? Because his attacker was of a certain, what shall I say, religion or colour or something. And at school I lost my job. I got early retirement because of Islamic business, frothing at the mouth. Some kids were saying, the 9/11, they're martyrs, they're heroes, they're this, they're that. I said, don't talk like that, it's wrong. We hate the Jews. These are 9-year-old kids. And when I was telling them it's wrong, I get in trouble. I'm anti-Islamic. And all this, and that was a big case. It was in the Daily Mail. And
I was interested in your banner.
Oh yeah.
It said "Hope Not Hate, Government Sire."
Yeah. So Hope Not Hate work in partnership with Care for Calais. So they're importing hundreds of thousands of fighting age men, no women and children, across the channel. They've got links with George Soros and the Open Foundation, which is also weaponising immigration in the States. 20 million illegals have gone across. It's basically to undermine democracy, to break the country, to destroy the West through uncontrolled immigration. If you look into it, if you research Hope Not Hate, you'll only get the leftist propaganda. You won't get any neutral, unbiased information. But it's out there for you to see. You have to research it. The links are with the intelligence agencies, MI5, MI6, and it is subversion and it is social engineering.
Thanks very much.
No worries, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Really want to know the truth and be prepared for major events then take a free copy of the Great Controversy. This book is a bestseller and has sold millions of copies worldwide.
This is the free controversy, yeah?
Yes.
Can you tell me what it is?
This is lots of history, the background, how it happened, what we got in the war. It's about information as well as prophecies and how those things will end up.
And how will they end up?
They will end up good because we've got good God above. He's not like,
They observe the
he's
intensity
full of
that is
love
taking
and he
possession
won't
of
allow
every
this
earthly
thing to
element,
happen.
and they
Stand before their king, and they will answer to the King of Kings. Jesus says, if your name is not written in the Lamb's Book of Life, you will not enter the kingdom of God. Jesus warns us that this is the lake of fire, of burning sulfur. Jesus Christ preached more about hell than anyone else who ever walked the earth. I think he could have left it anyway.
Lied about him. Well, I think he's a true patriot. He's standing up for the country. He's expressing the fears that a lot of us have. Too much immigration. Every bus you go now, you cannot get a seat.
For you, what is concerning about the Muslim religion?
What is concerning is that it is a totally different religion to Christianity, and the history of Europe was shaped by Christianity, not just England and Ireland. So I wouldn't ever interfere with them having their beliefs. That's a private matter, but I obviously do try to push it. And for instance, talk about Sharia law, things like mosques, in the central mosque is in the park. It's in the park which is not supposed to be done, that sort of thing.
Are you thinking of Regent's Park Mosque?
Yes, I am, yeah. No one knows how they managed to build it there, so I admire their devotion because they're on the whole very spiritual people, but at the same time, the idea that they're equal to Christianity is a non-stop.
Okay, so what would you say to people who say, well, we've got all these refugees who may not be refugees, they may be economic migrants. They're living in hotels at Oregon. What would you?
We've got climate change, right?
Yes.
The world is fucked. The reason it's fucked is we had the Industrial Revolution. We've exploited the whole world and fucked up the climate for everyone. Unfortunately for us, our country isn't so affected by climate change. The countries that are affected by climate change are going to become uninhabitable. There's going to be loads of refugees, and it's not their fault, it's because we've made the world unlivable. So we should, instead of fucking that arguing, we should be planning how we're going to make the world let everyone live. It's simple. Now, when I was growing up, and we found out about the Holocaust, we were all saying, fucking hell, what would we have done if we were growing up in Nazi Germany? Well, fucking hell, a genocide is happening now. What the fuck are we doing? We're watching it happen in the news. We're not even watching it. We're pretending it's not happening. That's what the world's like. It's not a game.
I've seen a guy with a kippah demonstrating here.
I don't want anyone to be harmed, but the point is what's going on. Like there's over 40,000 people died. They've stopped counting because the people that were doing the counting have been murdered. Right?
Yes.
People are burned to death in hospital. I mean, just doing children starving to death as we speak. All due respect to Jewish people, that's not happening in Israel. They are doing it to innocent Palestinians. It's not the same. It's not two sides of equal. There's one side that's fucking much worse.
So we had not an opinion from Talk TV or GB News, an official government inquiry by Lord Justice Taylor, Sir William McPherson, the Stephen Lawrence inquiry, as a government white paper, an official government inquiry, and it found that the police in this country are institutionally racist. That is true to your policing. Stop and Search is targeted against ethnic members That is two-tier policing. 10 years later, they asked the top police officer in this country, what do you think about the police being called institutionally racist? Sir Bernard Hogarth said, of course the police are institutionally racist. Britain is institutionally racist. And then we can move on to Lord Justice Taylor to report into Hillsborough. I'm providing you, not with my opinion, as a working class ethnic. And trust me, I don't get treated the same. If my family go on holiday, my father is called an immigrant and my mother is called an expat, but my father pays for everything. Yeah, I'm mixed race, I'm proud of my dual heritage, but I am not having one side of my family treated better than the other. It has been a pleasure to meet you, sir.
And you, sir.
I assure you, two-tier policing is against the ethnics.
Was acquitted for killing Piers Corbyn. So we say, no justice, no justice, no justice. We are here today in our thousands. We are here united against racism and fascism. We are trade unions. We are lesbian and gay, transsexual communities. We are Muslim. We are Jews. We are Christians. We are Sikhs. We are Hindus, we are Africans, we are Caribbeans, we are Asians, we are socialists, we are liberals, we are communists, we are the people, we are disabled people, we are united here against racism and fascism.
Morning, I went and had a look at the pro-Tommy Robinson demonstration, spoke to people there. There were a number of people waving Israeli flags, and they are generally shunned by most pro-Israel demonstrations. The main issues that people were worried about there were issues in the UK. So they would talk about things like two-tier policing. Some of them had conspiracy theories. But what I've noticed here is that Palestine seems to be the dominant issue. If I was protesting about Tommy Robinson, that wouldn't be the thing that was most on my mind. I can certainly understand if you're doing a pro-Palestinian demonstration, but why here has there been so much emphasis on Palestine?
I would say that Palestine is the front line in the fight against the World Economic Forum and Zionism. But the reason why it's important for people on the Tommy Robinson is because anti-Tommy Robinson is because the campaigners against Tommy Robinson are the same people who are campaigning against Israel in Gaza. So they may not have linked the things together as we do on our leaflet, namely that they're both forces or being controlled by the Israeli lobby. But if you want to defeat Tommy Robinson, you're right, the issues have to be, we should be saying things like, look, if immigrants are coming here being given housing, the same rights should be given to homeless people in Britain, instead of being discriminated against, which is what the government does in order to divide and confuse us. So Tommy Robinson is funded by the Israeli lobby to divide and confuse the English working class and to get them manipulated to support genocide in Gaza. which is why you saw those Israeli flags on the Tommy Robinson.
Another thing I've got to ask you about, because it's something that I feel very strongly about and would strongly disagree with you about, but which a lot of the Tommy Robinson supporters would agree with you about, was your protest against COVID restrictions.
Yes.
To me, when I saw people like that during the pandemic, I was thinking, you're killing people. You're going out, you're spreading a disease that can kill people. I'm afraid I had to censor Piers Corbyn's answer because he said some things that violated YouTube's community standards. However, I can tell you that he made the claim that 17 million people had died due to COVID vaccinations. Then the lady with him said she didn't believe that COVID was a disease. She claimed that the deaths recorded as COVID were in fact due to a range of diseases, including cancer and heart disease, and that some people having suppressed immune systems was a factor, as was lack of access to hospitals and lack of access to medical treatment. Anyway, thank you very much for the interview. Another person that I spoke to, she had a St. George's flag, an Israeli flag, and a pro-Trump flag. Wow. She's not Jewish, but she was really upset after October the 7th. And to her, supporting Israel, that was her way of supporting Jews. Okay. Now, I noticed you're wearing a pro-Palestinian keffiyeh. Yeah. So what would your response be to that?
On October 7th, I was sympathetic with the Jews. It caught me by surprise. Again, I'm being Egyptian. We're at peace with Israel. A lot of the people I work with are Israeli Jews. It's a part Israeli company that I work for. But sort of October 7th, I was sympathetic with what happened, and I thought like Hamas messed this up. Whatever chances for peace are now gone. All of that. That was October 7th. That was a year ago. Yeah. Since then, my sympathy has run dry. Whatever sympathy I had in the past has run completely dry. Yes, what Hamas did was wrong. If I were in a leadership position in that organization, that is definitely not what I would have done. But that is the reality we have to deal with. And what Israel has done since then is not just getting harder and harder to justify it as if it was anyone other than Israel doing the exact same thing, we would have abhorred them as barbarians. And look at these animals, look at what they're doing, they're just killing everybody. And since then, I've just, like, whatever kindness I had for the Israeli position, done. That's it. I can't justify it anymore. Anything that's based on this immutable, it's coming from God, oh, it's from our blood, etc., that's almost always going to have very bad, a very terrible end at the end of it. So Hamas, Hezbollah, the Islamic Brotherhood, not on their side. But the question you're not asking is, why do they even exist? Hamas wasn't around in 1986. Hezbollah wasn't around in the 70s, 80s, etc.
So who created those people then?
So Hamas, great question. So Hamas actually came out with the support of the Israelis. Benjamin Netanyahu even said that it is better for Israel to fund Hamas to create a schism in the Palestinian population, so that one side will side with the PLO, who are running the former PLO, who are running the West Bank, and one side will shack up with Hamas, who are now in control, who were in control of Gaza. And the same with Hezbollah. Hezbollah grew out of a resistance movement that was funded increasingly by Iran. Because again, Lebanon, I don't know how much you know about it, is a very ethnically and religiously divided country. You've got different sects of Islam, different sects of Christianity, Sunni, Shia, etc. And Hezbollah is very much on the Shia side. So that came out of the Lebanese civil war and post-Israeli sort of colonization of that area. Yeah. So again, Hezbollah being out, that's good news for me. But what that creates is a vacuum that will be filled by someone who is either the same or worse than Hezbollah. So I can speak on Egypt because I am Egyptian and I know that history quite well. There's more than one reason. First off, in Egypt during the revolution, the Muslim Brotherhood was elected, Mohammed Morsi, etc. Hamas is a franchise of the Muslim Brotherhood. So it's not an Egyptian organization; it's an Islamic organization that operates throughout, like Turkey, Saudi Arabia, etc.
Are they still exist?
Oh yeah. They're like Erdogan in Turkey his party is a franchise of the Muslim Brotherhood. So they take.
No wonder they are very hardliner.
Yes, they take different forms
so
of different
what is the current